Hey everyone, James here. Welcome back to another day of VEDS, and more importantly, welcome back to the start of our end of VEDS roundup. It's kind of hard to believe that VEDS has already sort of come and gone. It really flew, at least in my opinion this year, probably quicker than it ever has before. But as many of you have pointed out in your end of VEDS wrap-ups over the years, it's a good thing that VEDS is coming to an end because, let's all be honest, VEDS is not sustainable. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but it's also a lot of hard work, which is why I want to take the last 2 days here of VEDS and celebrate everything about it. Celebrate you, celebrate me, celebrate everything. So today is going to be talking about all of you lovely people and all of the content that you've been making, all of the comments you've been leaving. And tomorrow is going to be about me, my experience with VEDS this year, and the channel, and everything going forward. And within the video that you're watching right now, it too is going to be split into 2 parts. Reacting and responding. Part 1 is reacting. I'm going to go through each of you lovely VEDS-ies, and I am going to pick my favorite video that you've uploaded during the course of the month. And the first person I want to start off with is Abby. Abby, your videos this month have been very insightful. You had the theme of talking about little Abby versus older Abby. Really, I think at the core, your videos this month have been letting us get to know you better, know you more. And I've really appreciated the almost deeper level of intimacy, if that's even the right word, that you've shared with us this month. It feels much more personal in the sense that we're getting to learn who Abby is, what makes Abby tick. And as someone who does also kind of have a problem with sleep and sort of falling asleep at random times and then not being able to sleep later, or, you know, as some would say, at least in my case, maybe sleeping a bit too much, it's nice to sort of see other people experiencing this too. And I think, Abby, my favorite video that you've put out this month, hands down, has got to be that Rickroll. I will fully admit I did not see that coming, so I wrote to you in the comments, and I still feel this way. My jaw literally was on the ground as the letters were being rolled out, and I realized what you had did. And I'm not kidding when I say that video, for the amount of work you had to put in to get the titles to work for what you were trying to do, to the setup to the reveal and then the reveal itself, that is probably in my top 10, nay, top 5 favorite VEDS videos of all time. It was just, mwah, it was just beautiful. And before I move on to the next one, I also do want to once again extend a thank you to both you and the person I'm talking about next, Jeffrey, for lending your vocal talents and your on-camera talents to the Krusty Krab training video, VEDS 2023 training video, thing that I did at the beginning of the month. I know I've said that probably a bunch of times, both in comments and to you personally, but that video, I still say, hands down, would not be a tenth of what it was without both of you. You helped make the vision a reality. That is easily one of my favorite videos of the month, and really, I kind of have to owe it to the both of you, especially given the short time frame that I unfortunately gave you guys to work with. Again, that's my bad, and I do apologize for that. But again, thank you from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And now, like I said, moving on to Jeffrey.
I wanna be your friend forever.
I want to be a modern dancer.
What a super weird thing to say that came out of nowhere. I wanna be your friend forever.
I want to play Nintendo.
Who needs Nintendo when you got a friend? Yo!
Jeffrey, the chord to that original core group of VEDS-ies. I'm really glad that you're still out here doing VEDS with us, and the videos you've made this month have been truly spectacular. Your critiques are very well thought out. They're insightful as they've always been. And this, again, is a cheating.
You cheat!
But one of my favorite things you did this month, it wasn't an individual video, but it was one of the things you did this month, was you started to cover Holy Musical Batman from Star Kid. Now, I'll freely admit, I have not watched Holy Musical Batman, though it does seem like it is something that I would like. I mean, it's a musical comedy, it stars Batman. I did really like Twisted, the other Star Kid show that they did, although I think that's the one after this. Which, side note, I'd love to collaborate with you on something regarding Twisted for, you know, kind of obvious reasons. I've also very much enjoyed your videos talking about your dream roles or your dream Star Kid roles. That is something I would like to make a video on in the future, probably for next year's VEDS. Spoiler alert, Max Bialystock is probably going to be #1. But again, Jeffrey, your videos are amazing. I love watching them. They're always really, really well done. So now let's move on to Caleb. Caleb, my sort of brother-in-arms, for being the VEDS-ie who sort of started around the same time that I did, or maybe a year before I did. You know, it's great to see that, you know, even though you've had some struggles this month with getting videos out on time, you still are doing it. That's always, I think, a plus. And despite all of the issues that you've had with sort of being delayed and such, the videos you've put out this month have still been really, really good. I know I wrote to you on the day one in the comment that it was very calming, and really that's sort of the tone and the feeling and the vibe that I get from a lot of your videos. It's just, they're very calming. You have this voice that just sort of puts you at ease and can help you sort of paint a picture in somebody's head for what you're talking about, which I don't like the way I talk. I don't like my voice. I think I come off as kind of gruff and aggressive, and I kind of wish I had the voice that you did. I also want to say thank you. I know I wrote this in the comment on the responding video. Thank you for all your kind thoughts and, you know, nice words about my videos this month in your response video part 2. And also, mega thank you for actually noticing the color of the shirt and the lights changing in the head-on apply directly to the forehead commercial Let's Riff Commercials video. I said this to you in the comment, I was kind of worried people wouldn't pick up on it, and I was just kind of doing it for no reason. And also, one more addendum that I want to put to that response video is, I too have that Lego 66 Batman Batmobile with the Joker and the Batman minifig. And I really like how on the minifig, they actually did put the Cesar Romero mustache on the Joker. That's a very important key aspect to that Joker that I think a lot of people don't even realize it's there because they've only seen kind of the crappy looking clips on YouTube. But I would pull it out right now, but I don't know quite where it is. I've rearranged everything. That's also why I'm using the microphone audio from the phone. I also do have, and I'm currently working on building, the Lego Adam West Batman cowl. So maybe when I'm finished with that, I'll put that in the video, or maybe it'll show up behind me. I don't know, but it was nice to kind of see somebody else have that. Oh, and the other guy wants to say thank you for, you know. And Caleb, I think overall one of the favorite things I saw you do this month, and again, it falls in line with something that Graham did as well, which I'll get into in a minute, is all of the still life, sort of behind the scenes B-roll, sort of slice of life is what I think I referred to it in my comment, stuff you've uploaded this year. Mostly, and again, I'll get into this a little bit with Graham as well, is it's really just shot well. Jon Stewart, who hosted The Daily Show, always at the end of every episode would show the audience what he would call the moment of zen. And granted, though, that was usually like a punchline, but really with those videos you've put out, they are moments of zen. Which, since I just mentioned him, Graham. Graham, you to me are just such a VEDS wild card. I never quite know what we're gonna get from you, which is always really, really exciting as a viewer. And it's very apparent when watching your videos, your content, that everything that you talk about, the artists that you like in the Kiss video, that you have a passion for what you're talking about, which especially I feel like in this day and age of YouTube and content creation, a lot of it is just what's the new trendy thing. But with you and really all of the VEDS-ies, when we talk about something, we actually want to talk about it. It's not just for clicks or for views. There is a passion behind it. So, and I think really you wear your passion on your sleeves. And like I said with Caleb, I appreciate the kind words you have left on my videos and comments that you've made in the 2 videos, the comments that you should have left on videos, and the sort of recap of week 1. And I think overall, my favorite thing that you did this month, really bar none, was how you took us on a trip, whether it was sort of exploring places or going in that car ride with Alicia. You just also have this way of filming things and sort of letting us get a glimpse into your world through our phone or a TV or, you know, whatever, that it's very rare to come by. The way you record things when you're sort of out and about, sort of that vlog style format, I don't know if you know who this creator is, but it feels very similar to Adam the Woo, who kind of does, well, I mean, on the Daily Woo channel, he did a vlog every day for like a couple of years. So, I mean, he's the ultimate VEDS-ie. I don't know, I think it's just the way you guys both shoot things and you talk about things while on camera and behind it. I don't know, it's just, it's very similar. And overall, I've just really enjoyed getting to go on these trips with you, even through virtually. And also congratulations on your Kiss video going semi-viral and receiving some comments on it that you shared in the group. Yeah, the comments can be kind of weird. And now let's move on to Alicia. Alicia, I have very similar things to say about your videos as I've said about some of the other VEDS-ies, mainly Abby, where things maybe didn't go quite the way you had planned them out, but you still did VEDS. You still managed to put videos out in this month, which is a feat in and of itself. But when I was talking about Abby, I was talking about how her videos sort of felt like we got to know more about who Abby is, and I feel very much the same way about your videos this month, which you've always kind of had this videos where, you know, they always feel more personal, more real. You're not trying to sort of do kind of what I do and sort of play characters or sort of do that. It's more sort of like, you know, I'm gonna get down to earth. I guess that's the, you know, the proper phrasing that I would use. But it feels like this year more than ever, we're sort of getting to know, and this is across the board, we're getting to learn more about individual VEDS-ies and sort of learn more. It's sort of peeling back the curtain, pulling back the veil of sort of the online persona, and we're getting to know more about the person underneath and what makes them tick. So whether that's you trying to decide for your first video how you're going to shoot it. Are you going to shoot it on the bed, making the joke about filming it on the floor, which I still think would have worked, by the way. Or how, as Caleb pointed out in his response to you, and I'm going to sort of echo that, how you're talking about embracing fall. I am not a summer boy. I hate summer with all of my heart. I hate the heat. I hate literally everything about it. I have never liked summer from any point in my life. I don't know, I just find the heat of summer brings out a lot of stress in people, and that stress just, it doesn't give off the right vibe. But I really enjoyed, you know, sort of you talking about that this month. But I think overall my favorite thing you did this month was your video where you showed us and sort of, you made the loaf of bread. And I liked that video because I got very similar vibes watching that I do to watching a couple of other food-centric creators that I watch on this website, meaning Binging with Babish. But, you know, I was obviously into food shows. I mean, look at me. Well before then. You know, I remember watching Food Network growing up and watching 30-Minute Meals with Rachel Ray, Emerald Live with Emerald Lagasse. But my favorite, bar none, was probably Good Eats, starring Alton Brown. He had this way of talking about food and the science behind food that was kind of like Mr. Wizard meets Monty Python. And I just really enjoyed seeing you tackle making that kind of video. It's a video that I've also kind of wanted to make in the future. I don't know if I will. And you know, if I did, I had some ideas, but it was nice to see you kind of try to do that video, and I'm probably going to try to do that recipe sometime in the near future. And now let's move on to our last VEDS-ie, which is Tessa.
Adventure is a wonderful thing. I salute you, and those of you doomed to never return, I salute you twice.
Like I say with pretty much all of the other VEDS-ies, and I don't really mean for this to come off, you know, half-hearted, because it's not intended that way at all, but it just sort of shows the crop of people we have doing this still. Your videos are always very well done, very well produced, extremely well thought out. I've loved your style of thumbnail this year. As somebody who does put, you know, a lot of crazy effort into thumbnails, I liked sort of seeing you have a consistency with them. I also liked how you shed some light on the actors strike going on right now, because I do feel like that is an important subject. And honestly, I think your little disclaimers at the front of when you would talk about something put it very well done, that the stuff that you're talking about, the stuff that all of us have talked about in some way, shape, or form, would not be possible without the creatives being at the helm. And yeah, hopefully they get the fair deal that they are deserved. But overall, I think my favorite video that you made this month, just because of how crazy detailed they were, had to be your D&D video. I don't know what program you used. I don't know if you modeled those yourself or if there was a website to do it for you. I don't know, but the way that the characters looked perfectly sort of matched up with your descriptions of why you went with certain things, why certain VEDS-ies would be this class, why other VEDS-ies would do this, why would they have this, and I didn't think I looked too bad. And I think that's all of the VEDS-ies. Before we move on to the last segment of the video, the part 2, I just want to sort of say before we move on, I'm sorry if that last segment wasn't very good. Or if I kept repeating myself, but really, a lot of the things that I have to say about you lovely people kind of just mesh into one another. All of the content you guys have put out have been amazing. I know you guys would be telling me I'm stupid for saying this right now, but like, you know, it's the first time I've ever tried to do an all-encompassing sort of like in-review thing like this. And I'm clearly not as good at leaving perfect compliments like somebody like Abby is, so I'm not even really trying to reach that level of excellence. Moving on to part 2 of the video. So the first part was the reacting. Part 2 is responding. In this segment, the responding segment, I want to take some time to respond to some of the comments you guys have left on my videos over the course of the month. We'll be starting with the earlier videos first, and then moving up to the more recent comments from the more recent videos. Caleb, in the second Disney cereal Let's Try video that I did, the one that was of the Mickey Mouse flavored red and green sort of fruity flavored cereal, made a comment that if Disney released more cereals, I could then make a Disney cereals tier, or not a Disney cereals tier list, a cereals tier list. Don't think the idea hasn't been floated before. It is on the list, probably for next year's VEDS, but I make no promises. In regards to the cereal Let's Tries, those, I don't really know if people like me doing them. They're weird. I don't know if even I like doing them. That's why I always sort of try to make them at least a little bit funny. Next is Alicia, who I believe left this comment on my Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame fan dub. complimented me, again, thank you, for saying that I do villain voices really, really well. Well, again, thank you. Fan dubs, again, while I don't know if they're everybody's cup of tea, I like doing them because it sort of gives me a chance to act out, play a character. And yeah, I really do like doing villain voices because I feel like with villains, you can go as far as you want, and it's just, villains I think just get to chew up the scenery legally, and they're just so much fun to play. And out of the couple that I've done this month, I think Frollo was probably the most that's like closest to my vocal range. And sort of speaking out of character for a second, the fan dubs and doing the villain fan dubs is kind of the reason why we have EJ or Editing James now, which I'll get more into that in tomorrow's video. But that's probably the reason why he decided to show up this month, is because I really enjoyed doing the villain fan dubs. Next was a comment left on my initiating a challenge of showing your collections and also giving an update to my vinyl collection video from Tessa, who I wanted to highlight this because I thought it was really, really cool. In that video, I showed off the Back to the Future London cast vinyl, and Tessa wrote that one of her friends actually was cast in Back to the Future, which, that is just amazing. I would love to know who it is, because I didn't know we had any VEDS-ies who knew aspiring Broadway actors or actresses. And honestly, I would just really love to go and see them perform, so I'd love to know who they actually are and what role they play. Moving on, let's talk about the comment that both Tessa and Abby left, similar comments, on my YouTube favorites Whose Line Is It Anyway video, saying that apparently the game of two-line vocabulary is something that acting professors and acting classes use. I will fully admit that I did not know that. Kind of makes me wonder if other acting classes do other games from Whose Line. Like, is there an acting class that does Hoedown, or, you know, weird newscasters or stuff like that? It's just something to think about. And the last comment that I want to quickly spotlight in this segment came from Caleb in the Oogie Boogie Bash 2024 Draft Picks comment section. He talked about who he would replace Agatha with, because again, in that video, I was replacing Agatha Harkness from WandaVision in the Avengers Campus area with either King Thanos or Killmonger from What If with the Infinity Stones. He kind of gave a different perspective, that Agatha fulfills sort of the witchy, spooky Halloween vibe of the event, which I do agree with. I do see that. But he said if he was going to replace it with anything, he would actually like to see it be an evil version. I actually didn't even consider this. An evil version of Doctor Strange from either What If or Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That is such a much better idea than the one that I have, especially considering the area that Agatha currently resides is the Sanctum Sanctorum on the West Coast for the Doctor Strange show. So yeah, if I could go back in time and come up with something else, I would actually put evil Doctor Strange. I don't know if I would do for Multiverse of Madness. I'd probably go, well, What If would be a very intense costume. But yeah, I would definitely probably put evil Doctor Strange in that spot ahead of the Infinity Gauntlet Killmonger or King Thanos. And with that, my friends and fellow VEDS-ies, part 1 of our 2-part VEDS wrap-up has concluded. Tune back in tomorrow for the last day of VEDS, where I'm going to be talking about my experience with VEDS, the highs and the lows, and the channel moving forward. So until then, guys, gals, and my fellow VEDS-ies, I will see you tomorrow.